What is mindset? Our mindset is based on what we believe, and anything we believe in, we put into motion. I have spent my life putting the mindset of perseverance into motion, and now I am here today to share my journey along with others whose mindsets have changed the course of their lives. Hi, I'm Mindset Coach Lorraine Lindsay, and I believe that if you can change your mind, you have the power to change your life. So are you ready? Welcome to another episode of the Mindsetters, where we believe that if you can change your mind, you have the power to change your life. And before we get started on our show, if you like the content, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up if you like today's show, and also send us your comments. We love hearing feedback on our show and our topics. I am your host, Coach Lorraine Lindsay. I am a certified life coach, mindset coach, peak performance coach. If you need something done, I got a coach in front of it. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm always trying to be unique. Anyways, I am so happy because I have the fabulous lipstick ladies in the building. It's been a minute since the three of us have been together. So we're here to talk about this fun topic, but let me introduce our guests first. First, we have Carmen Smith. I forgot where we were on the slide. I have Miss Carmen Smith. She is a local Las Vegas realtor. So if you are looking to buy or sell a home, please get in contact with Miss Carmen Smith. Hi, Carmen.
Hey, Carmen.
Yeah, I feel like I had too much coffee today. And then, of course, we've got Miss Charlene Ruiz. What's up, Charlene? Charlene is a lender, a mortgage lender here in the Las Vegas Valley. She works for New American Funding. So if you are looking to get financing and qualification for a home, we've got the two most fabulous women in the city of Las Vegas that can help you out. So anyways, ladies, today, first of all, welcome. Good to see you all again. Today, I want to talk about the type of women that we are, and I kind of summarize it into these personality types that Carmen and I were looking up on a road trip coming home. What triggered this was a TikTok video that I posted. It got a huge amount of responses, a lot of comments about being an alpha female. And I want to show that clip, and then I want to get into the topic of what kind of personality types are we really, truly. I think at times from my life, from a personal experience, the perception is that I am trying to be the alpha, or that I am being. You know, I can't take away someone else's experience. But me having grown up, being on my own from a very young age, being a single mother at a very young age, and really having to take charge of life and not having the support from the masculine energy, that I ended up kind of taking on that energy because it was survival mode. It was necessary for me to be a provider and to be provisionary. So when I would get into relationships where, let's say, the man was like, I got this, it was me waiting for the ball to drop and not fully accepting. And so the appearance, or the experience, I should say, may have been that, oh, she's being alpha, she wants to be in charge. And it wasn't that I wanted to be in charge, it's that I didn't trust the other person to take charge.
Exactly. I could totally relate.
So it's interesting because, again, there was a lot of feedback, a lot of women who were like, this is me, this is how I feel. I also got comments from men that, you know, were opposing what I was saying, but it made me think about, like, this word alpha female is being tossed around quite a bit, you know, and a lot of women feel like they need to be this self-proclaimed alpha female. So Carmen and I were looking up some things, and we found that when we talk about the Greek alphabet, there are 6 female personality types, and it also equates to men as well, right? There's 6, the same type are associated with men as well. But we're specifically today going to talk about the women and the alpha, the beta, the gamma, and we'll go through them all. So the point of the show is, who am I? Because what was interesting when we were talking about it was that I was like, I'm definitely an alpha female. And then we started kind of looking through these personality types. And I was like, well, you know what? Wow, maybe I'm a little bit sigma. And even Carmen was like, well, I might be beta.
I know.
I'm thinking I was an alpha and all along beta. But the whole point of this is, like, I think when you can really see who you are and understand that there's a place for every personality type, we don't all have to be the quintessential alpha female. And by the way, sometimes the alpha female, which I'm definitely an alpha female, we'll go into that, doesn't always really want to be that either. And so I want to kind of break some of these down, see what we relate to, and see how it all fits in the great scheme of things. So with all that mouthful that I just said, let's just go into it. So I'll read a little. There's an article, and I'll reference the article at the end of the show. But the alpha. So okay. I think I had a slide up there that has the list of all of them, right? Yeah. Okay. So there's the alpha, the beta, the gamma, the omega, the delta, and the sigma. So these are the 6 types that we're going to kind of break down. And as you are watching the show, for the audience out there, hear out the descriptions and really see where you fit in and how that works for you and how it works against you, because I think it's interesting to say this. Okay. So I'll start with the alpha. All right. And so this article that I read, that Carmen and I read, couple little bullet points on the alpha female, right? She's perceived as confident. She is self-assured. She is powerful. She is a leader. So I'll read a little bit on each one of those things. It says that just as in the case with the male counterpart, the alpha female will be a leader in her group and will exhibit a high amount of confidence. Not only does everyone else think that the alpha woman is awesome in everything she does, but she knows that she's awesome. The self-assurance she offers herself gives her the ability to understand her value in the world and to get her through troubled times. She is powerful. The confidence that an alpha female possesses allows her to naturally shift to a higher position in the world. That power helps the alpha female stand out in a crowd and comes with her ability to know what she wants and the hard work she has to put to get into it. She's a leader. When other women need someone to follow and get inspired by, the alpha female by the group is often the one calling the shots. Her confident attitude to approaching every situation means that she can lead a group into uncertain situations with confidence. So this is kind of a synopsis of the alpha female. So I've always saw myself as an alpha, but I always saw myself as an alpha female in a defensive way, not in a powerful way. So it was kind of nice to read the article and read kind of the descriptive things, because by default, I am those things, but I never saw me being an alpha female as necessarily something to be proud of. It was almost like I have to be the alpha female, like what I said in the video. I needed to be. I was a survivor in my life. So I felt like it was more of a shield. But hearing it in its entirety is like, okay, I could really do something with this if I focus on the attributes, how it actually contributes to my life versus me being aggressive and dominant as I've been told by men.
So can I give a quick story? So Lorraine and I went on a road trip. So we were at a bar having dinner and, just talking about the day. And there's a guy, and she's really having a conversation with him. And she does a gesture with her hands because she's talking with her hands, right? And then I start talking and I make the same gesture. And he was like, "You're pointing at me. You're being defensive, argumentative, or aggressive."
He said I was aggressive, yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, I just did the same thing to you." And
he said, "But your voice is softer."
Yeah, my voice is softer. So just based on that, like, he already made her aggressive and me not. And then he says, so if we were on a date, him and her, and they got in an argument, she would come in, she'd be pissed off, she'd order the most expensive thing on the menu and like basically start a fight, right?
Right.
If him and I were on a date and we got in a fight, we would walk in and basically I would be quiet like a little mouse and I wouldn't say anything. I said, "Why do you think I wouldn't confront you about what happened? And why do you think she would order the most expensive thing on the menu just based off that?" But it was so interesting, and I think that's kind of how we like started looking at it, researching it, and just the way it's perceived by body language. And
was he from another country? Was he?
No, he was
okay
from Orange or something.
Yeah, experiences too. Yeah, that's interesting.
What do you consider yourself an alpha female?
When you said defensively versus not defensively, I'm alpha. I mean, if I'm going to be on a defense, of course, because I have a motive to be strong. But if I'm not being defensive, naturally, I am confident. I am self-aware. but I'm learning how to be more submissive to others, not just partners. So that's shifting that alpha. So I don't think I'm an alpha anymore as I was once were.
So we'll go through the thing and we'll see where you feel like
one
you
more
fit.
thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think a lot of women, especially like single women or women who have to be the head of the household, we take that term alpha because it's like, well, I have to be independent. I have to take care of everything. I have to do everything. But the essence of who you really are internally, like when I was reading and then Lorraine I didn't read the signal. I'm like, oh my God, that's me, like for sure.
Yeah.
But then I could find myself in beta. I could find myself in other ones as well. So I don't even being so definitive on which one I am 100%.
And it's the one that stands out the most.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have all of it in us, but it's just a matter of when it shows up and which one's stronger than the rest. But
you know what I find very interesting is that I'm deemed an alpha with sometimes with just walking into a space. And it's really interesting to me because I'm always like, I'll give you a perfect example. Years ago, my past life when I was married, I remember going into Italy. I told Carl, I shared this story with Carmen. And I'm in Italy and I'm going to meet my ex-husband's friend's mother. Okay, she speaks no English whatsoever and I didn't speak any Italian. So when I go into the house, I just say, ciao, piacere, just the minimum of what I knew. And I sat down and they're talking in Italian to one another. And she turns to him and she says to him something in Italian and she tells him, translate and let her know what was said. And so she says to me, or he says to me, what she said is that you're a very strong-willed woman. And that basically that is he going to be able to handle having such a strong-willed woman because she exudes this thing. And it was perplexing to me because I'm thinking, I didn't even say anything. I didn't walk in and have conversation and things like that or try to take lead or anything. I just sat in and I always thought like, well, what is it that someone projects? Because it has happened quite often with me where I'll walk into a place and immediately someone will say, oh, you've got a very strong personality. And it's like, was that a bad thing? And how is that? So
I've been told that a lot too, even still. And I think it's your essence, your presence, how you carry yourself, shoulders back, chest up, in confidence. Some people see that as, oh, wow, she's strong. Like, I may not even approach her. So it really just depends too on who the receiving side is, in my opinion. But we don't slouch down because we don't want to be considered something else. It's who we are. Alpha, I think, is just like the immediate response to what people see as strong. Strong. Let me be careful how I approach that person because she's strong. Other than, I think it's a confidence thing. I think it's more of the other person's perspective and what they understand that's supposed to be socially correct, whatever that definition is that they see other people. If you're in a room with a group of alpha women, I guarantee that we're going to be able to call out who's not the strongest or who is.
Well, it's so funny you say it's so ironic because one of the other articles we were reading, it said to pick out who the alpha of the alphas is to get a group of women in a room.
I want to do this.
Yeah, we actually want to try this out and see who that alpha is in the room. And they said organically what will happen is the woman who's the strongest in that room, even their feet will start to point towards that woman. And she'll just organically kind of lead in conversation and everybody will kind of be really focused on her. And even if there's other alphas, they will take a seat back to the one that's the most dominant. And I was like, me and Carmen were like, we need to do like another one of our topics parties and invite a bunch of women and see without, obviously if the three of us get up there and I'm like talking or whatever, but just to kind of take a seat back and just see how, it's really interesting. I kind of want to tap into a little bit before we move on to the other.
Real quick though, on that, do you, in your experience, do you feel that we attract that into our friendships, like other women that are alpha we befriend those types of, what's your perspective on that energy?
I think, and again, I can only speak from perspective from where I'm at. I feel like I get closest to other alpha type females, but I do always feel like that I'm the most dominant. And it isn't like I want to be or intentionally. I just always feel like I end up being like my personality is like like overly strong sometimes. And I don't mean it in a positive light necessarily, but I do tend to, like, when Carmen and I were talking, for example, or you, for example, like, I consider both of you alpha females. But then when we started reading the things, I was like, wow, I'm like I'm like super, not omega, but I'm super alpha. And Carmen, who I thought may have been alpha, was really more suited to some of the other personality types.
Yeah, when we go out, it's like I don't really care to like have all these conversations. Like, I literally don't care, and it's always.
I also talk a lot,
but it's not like a bad thing or anything. It just is what it is, and I don't think if there was two personalities like that, I don't think it would work.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? I just don't.
I think that's true. And to answer, I think alpha type female personalities, and this is just me like literally just pulling, grasping for straws here. But I think they have because they do have that strong leadership, I think their circle usually is a combination of different types of women. I think alphas unknowingly kind of select almost like people they can have leadership with. That's who they keep in their circle. I think so. And again, and I don't think they think about it. It's not at the forefront. And it's definitely, for me as an alpha female, it is at the forefront in my mind when it comes to business.
I want to hang out with leaders, decision makers, not people that are going to be like, can you answer my question?
But I don't want to be with leaders who we're butting heads.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Which is interesting because as an alpha female, being with an alpha male, it's contentious, right? It's like, it causes a lot of headbutting because now you've got two alpha people together and you're trying to decide, in your world, you're an alpha. In my world, I'm an alpha. When we come home, who's the alpha? And that could be very, very difficult to battle, especially like the video I just played. For me, being an alpha female in my household, it's having the ability to really trust the so-called alpha male. It's like, because to me, an alpha female is far more fierce than an alpha male because she's got that nurture,
it's almost like alpha's
that nature.
Control. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if you find the trust, I'm a believer. I'm a believer, so I believe in order in a household. Not to say it's a submissive thing, but if you can trust that man, would you allow him to be the lead?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Because I think just because I'm an alpha female, I do like to. I hate the word submissive, but I do like to.
No, I don't like it anymore either.
Yeah. I do like to feel like I can literally take a break, like rest and let someone take charge. So yes, but I do have to really trust that they can do that.
So I went out of town recently and I hate sharing my business, but
come on, girl, come on.
The person I was with, I felt really safe. I just feel safe with, really safe. And we were walking out of the hotel just to go to the elevator, and I just kept going the wrong way. And he was like, why do you keep going the wrong way? And it was like, I just felt so at ease that I could just let this person lead, that I wasn't even paying attention to which way the elevator was. And I was like, oh, I bet you I'll never forget which way to go again. But we had the conversation. I was like, I just feel safe with you. Like, I feel like I can just let my guard down. And I don't get to do that often.
Right.
So it's not that I can't be that. I just sometimes want to just feel safe with somebody.
Which is why she's not an alpha.
That's
and
fine.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
Because the alpha female, like, because I'm very strong alpha, I don't know if I could ever completely relinquish.
But I think us as women make it negative because it's like, well, I'm a boss. I am. I do what I have to do. When I read Sick, I'm like, that's me. I like to do things my way. I don't like nobody telling me how to do it. I do it by myself. I don't need a crowd. I don't need anybody. Not like that. But when I was reading it, it really hit who I was. But a lot of times I think women, they are like, well, I want to be that. I want to be that.
Right.
I don't want to run a Fortune 500 company. I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to manage that many people.
And I do.
And I'm okay. But I think just identifying and just being like, this is just who I am.
And that is so important. And I'm going to piggyback to that because I feel like that's very important. And I'll give a great example with my sister, okay? My sister, she'll say to me, for example, she'll say, I always look at you and I see that you're always doing so much. You're doing this business or you're doing this business or you're posting this or you've got this. You just seem like you're just always out there. And she's like, And sometimes it makes me feel like, God, I'm not doing enough, you know? And I tell her, wow, sister, because when I look at you, I see you with your beautiful family and you having a husband and these beautiful children and a much different life than I do. And I love that. Because she's more of a woman who would rather just take a seat back, let her husband do his thing and be the breadwinner. And she's very comfortable, like in a perfect world, you know, I could stay at home with my kids and maybe have like a, you know, a nonprofit or do something on the side, but that's her role. And I think the point that I'm trying to make is that we all don't have to be these grandiose things. And I think sometimes because an alpha female's personality is so strong and so out there that when women are watching, they feel like they have to be that. And it just isn't true. There is a great, beautiful place for each type of personality.
Right. Just because it's over the top doesn't mean you don't have a grand life. Like, I'm more purpose driven now in my life. And I'm really learning, like, my life has to matter. It has to mean something. It has to be a legacy. It doesn't have to just be money. But my purpose that I feel in my gut, my life is leaning more towards purpose.
Yep.
Not towards, you know, and that might not be where I'm running this big company like I thought I wanted to at one point. Or like when you hear other people, or just because your dreams of having this big company, that doesn't have to be my dream.
Right.
And it's okay. And we have to just be okay with where we are as women, not what society says we have to be. Bam. Not what, you know.
That's alpha.
That's, well,
to me, and just saying those words because you're owning it.
Well, let's go on to the gamma female, which I think is the next one, right, Quan? Oh, beta. Beta's next. Okay, so beta. Oh, shoot. Let me find my beta here.
Betas are sweets. They're sweeties.
When I heard the word gamma at first, I thought, you know how Jada Pinkett has that Red Table Talk? They call her mom Gamma. Oh, that's her name, like on the thing.
Oh, really?
I thought that's what you were talking about. Yeah.
And I think a lot of I didn't know there was 6. You know, all you hear is alpha female and probably beta. You know, so it's either you're this or you're that.
Yeah.
And beta doesn't even mean that.
I don't have the thing on the beta.
Beta. Okay, go to the next one.
We'll go to the next one. Sorry, Quan. And my internet kicked off for me. Okay. I'll tell you. The next one is the beta. Oh.
You got it?
The beta. Okay, it's right in my face. Hello. Hello. Anyway, so the beta female is she's unreactive. Okay. She's anxious. She's friendly. She's eager to help. And so I'll break those each down. So the beta female and beta male personality are the ones that often get most looked down upon by their personalities, with the submissive and often overly kind nature of the personality being prominent among beta personalities. They are naturally unreactive to others. She's anxious. With the beta female being someone who is not open to being forward with what she wants, she can easily become anxious. She's unable to get everything she wants out of life. Whether it is with friends or potential partner, the beta female has high anxiety about fitting in. She is friendly. With the previous traits painting the beta female in a negative light, we need to understand that at her core, her insecurities often stem from being overly friendly. The beta female is often regarded as one of the friendliest personalities as she tries to get acceptance through kindness. Being friendly is what helps the beta female to form relationships and to get connections in the first place. However, being too friendly is often what also ends up hurting the beta female in relationships. She's eager to help. In their desire for acceptance, the beta female is far more likely than others to give help to whoever asks. Whether helping a friend move or volunteering for a cause in which they actually have little interest, the beta female will always want to help others to gain their friendship and respect. So I actually find that I feel like there's a lot of women who are beta female, beta personality types.
For me, I see that as an insecurity personally when you're overly trying hard, like to I guess it might
people
be
pleasing.
Yeah, I think the younger maybe ladies or gentlemen might do that more so than a woman or man that's wiser and has been around more. I mean, again, it also depends on how you were raised and where you come from. Because, you know, when you're raised to be guarded and aware, being friendly is not an option, right? But when your friendliness is what you're taught to do and to, attract others, that too. But it's also that wanting to be accepted, like at whatever cost that is. I mean, I want you to like me, so I'm gonna do whatever I got to do for you to like me. And then when it doesn't happen, I can imagine they probably have a higher rate of depression or something like that. If that's the case, I don't know if that's true, if that's even mentioned, but
it is. Yeah, it doesn't mention it.
Yeah, but that would be curious to learn on that there, because it's almost like you lose yourself for the sake of befriending somebody else.
And I think also with a beta female, I really truly maybe because I have more of an alpha personality, I feel like, kind of going back to what you said originally, was I feel like I attract a lot of beta women in my life outside of my circle. But they are very friendly, and they get a little they're a little intimidated. But I think it's like, it's not a bad thing to be a person who's eager to help. It's not a bad thing to be someone who is friendly. It's just, how do you find it so you're not taken advantage of?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Where you're not a doormat and people
in our industry,
walking
we have
over
to
you.
be friendly.
I like, because we read a couple of articles.
You want to read more about it?
Yeah,
Go
this
ahead.
one says a beta female is compassionate and empathetic towards everyone. She tends to be understanding and senses other people's emotions immediately, and would always step up to offer empathy to her loved ones, and is truly considerate about others and their feelings.
That's me, I think.
That's why I mean, you can find certain things about yourself,
in each person.
Because I can be nurturing when I care. If I don't care, then I'm not so empathetic, or it just doesn't affect me. I don't know what that. But if I deeply care about somebody, like,
and it's interesting,
friendships or relationships.
It's interesting you say that, because as the labeled alpha, I actually overcare about too many things.
She does. She actually really does. And I'd be like, why do you care so?
It could be a complete strain. I remember when I used to work on the ambulance when I was an EMT, and my colleagues would call me the crusader, because I just wanted to save and help everybody. So although I am this alpha,
she's so. Sometimes I'll be like,
because if she to what she's saying though. For her, even though she has more of the maybe quieter demeanor, because she's very like chill like this, right? And even though I'm the more like in your face, if she don't care, she don't care. Me,
I know, I like that about you.
She is like, she has to care. I'm like,
everybody and everything is something for me to care about,
because you can connect to everybody and everything in some way, and I think that's where that comes from. That empathy, that discernment, that understanding, and also being an alpha, you're a problem solver. So if you see somebody hurting or in a place, I can help you in some way. Let me give you a little bit of me. Here, sprinkle the dust or whatever that case may be.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's how I see it anyways. But I do like that about you. She's like, if I care. If I don't care, I don't care. Whatever.
And sometimes it's like, can you get a reaction out of her?
Yeah.
Like.
It takes me a minute not to care. Like, okay, and then I get you. You're up to something else. Yeah, that's cool.
So let's go on to the gamma female. The gamma female is she's independent. So now this is where I'm kind of like on the ice here. The gamma female has personality that revolves around the individual. The gamma female has a personality that revolves around the individual, in that she always makes sure her needs are met to be happy. Oh, you might be kind of gamma, Carmen. Her natural independence is what allows her to be just as comfortable with friends as she is in her own private, quiet place. She's organized. To make sure her own needs are met and she can live comfortably, the gamma female is likely to have an organized space and lifestyle. From creating a living area that is clean and organized to having a consistent schedule, the gamma female certainly has her life in order. Actually, I aspire to be her.
Yeah, we did say that when we were driving.
She is driven. The gamma female is going to go after whatever she wants in life, and there's very little that can stop her. When given all the right information, the gamma female will be driven to complete any task and complete whatever is asked of her. She is confident. Going along with her traits that enable high self-confidence, the gamma female is certain of her future and goals, as she knows that she has the power to see them through. The gamma female is certain of who she is, and that acts as a shield to deflect negativity and doubt from herself. Okay, so she's to me like the queen.
Yeah, the organized part. I mean, there's pieces in there that I think we all have currently, because we wouldn't be successful in our life otherwise. I feel that you can pull that. If it's a complete that, then that's a hard one to be.
Yeah.
organized, this, that, and all
Not
that. You know, we
insecure about
strive for
anything.
I
that.
think
You're
Oprah's a
just
gamma.
super
Yeah.
confident in everything you
Yes.
do.
And see,
Yeah.
I'm a very confident person in a very insecure way.
I could relate to that too. It's
Give me
like
an
I know how to
example.
turn it on when I need to turn it on, but then when I get in my car, when I get home, I'm like, can I do that?
But it doesn't stop
Can
you.
I do that? No, it does. But I wish I could get rid of that doubt in my head to even have the conversations in my head that I
That's
can't.
human. I think that would be natural at
Well,
some
Gamma
point to
sounds like
challenge.
she doesn't
Yeah,
like
I
that.
know. Gamma just says that nobody sees her sweat. She's like, I got that.
Well, and what I mean by that is like when I say that I'm confident in an insecure way, is that my confidence is almost a protective shield, right? So when I show up in a space that I'm feeling afraid, I just show up with a little bit more oomph. And it's not but it's not because I'm really confident. It's really because I'm feeling insecure. It's one of the reasons why when I was growing up, why it was very important for me to be intelligent. I was very insecure about my looks when I was growing up because of me being biracial. I had really bad acne. I just, I had a lot of issues with, I was curvy. So I had a lot of issues with my self-image. Nowadays, it's an exotic thing to look like, a mixed person or whatever. But back then it was something that I was teased about. And so I always told myself, if I am intelligent and I'm smart and I'm witty and I can captivate people with what I say and do, then they won't pay attention to what I look like. And so I would read a lot. I would make sure I was informed on things. If I knew I was going to walk into a room with people that were this, I better know something about something that they're talking about. And it was all a defense mechanism. So it appeared that I was incredibly confident, but it was what I used to protect my insecurities. The more I talk, the less they're going to look at me, is what I felt at the time.
It's almost like you were preparing yourself prior. Like, let me prepare for the audience by being this. But it became just part of who you are because of where you came from and what you went through, right? Like our personality starts to develop through our experiences
Correct.
in life, and
Right.
in our career. Like for some people in sales, they have to be chameleons. They have to adapt to different personalities and become that person. But genuinely, you rip out the sales part in the show. Who are you? And I think that's where we're going with this. Is
Yeah.
finding out.
Right.
When you
Rip it all up at home, looking yourself in the mirror. Who's that person?
Right.
yeah.
You know.
And being able to find the beauty in that, like just to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I have flaws. I'm not as strong as I want to be all the time. I can take care of myself perfectly. I don't need anybody, but I do want somebody. I don't
And it's
have to
okay.
always
Yeah.
or just to be able to be in your own space and say, I'm okay. If I'm a beta female, then I'm going to be the best beta female I can be. I like to nurture. I like to take care of. I like to be empathetic. I like to solve problems. And if you want to be a housewife, just be comfortable with that. Don't let another woman intimidate you because you think you're not an alpha.
Right.
You know?
You were going to say something?
No.
Oh.
It's good. It's good.
No, I mean, and then the gamma is like I said, the gamma is like
Yeah.
the thing in my mind that I would aspire to be, just to kind of have it all together. But also giving, like you're saying, also giving myself permission that I don't have to have it all together.
Right.
It's okay, because I think there's good and bad to all these personalities. And I don't like to adhere to labels, but it is interesting to hear
Exactly.
when you describe something and you're like, wow, that sounds just like
I think we all aspire to do that. Is where are we putting our time and priority? I could be super organized, but then that means I got to let this go.
Yeah.
I could be this, but then that means I got to. So where am I managing? And
Right.
in different seasons of life, I think we're stronger in one thing than the other because we have to. It's one of those, you have to show up this way. That's just the way it is. Or if I don't show up, then this is the way that's going to turn out to be. So it's understanding that as well. But yeah, we're being organized all the time.
I
That's
also
tough
think
one
it's
too.
a matter of identifying certain things and once you can identify, yes, this is me, good and bad and indifferent, really looking into who you are in your work world, who you are in your friendship world, who you are in your most intimate world, because we show up sometimes differently in different things, but at the same time too, there's also what we are as a common thread across the board too. So if I start to see my relationships failing and I'm having problems in my relationship, then I can look, well, where am I failing in my business or my career?
Good
Or
one,
where am
yeah.
I failing in my friendships? Because I'm still showing up in each thing. So what is it that I'm switching up and changing, or what is it that I can adapt to? And I think the more we can understand ourselves, the more we can kind of see how we're showing up in different aspects of our lives. Because sometimes wherever we're failing, we're so laser focused on that that we don't see that we're still, when I'm up, like, for example, with the relationship, if I'm feeling down and my relationship's not going great, the tendency is to be the victim and blame the other person, right? But if I really want to grow, I can reflect and say, well, okay, well, how am I showing up here? And is that very similar to how how my work ethic is? Or is it very similar to how my friendship and how I show up as a friend? And just really kind of, I'm rambling, but
no,
I hope that makes sense.
It makes complete sense, yeah.
Okay, so the Omega female. So the Omega is, and I'm going to just go quick on the Omega, Delta, Sigma, but I actually kind of want to read a little bit more about Sigma because it's very similar to Alpha. But the Omega is introverted. She is often overly sensitive, and she's intelligent. She's also romantic. So just a quick little thing. The Omega female possesses several personality traits that are very commonly seen in movie characters who appear shy and reserved, but who are also passionate and intelligent. The Omega female has a tendency to remain quiet and keep to herself around most people. One thing that makes most people admire the Omega female is that she's above average intelligence. Reading classic literature, fantasizing about romance is something that the Omega female tends to do often. I wanted a friend of mine to come on the show because she is very much the Omega female. She's incredibly introverted. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. Thanks, Quan. Thanks for getting me off camera there. Not. Just kidding. But she's very, very introverted person. She's very, very shy, but again, very, very intelligent, very much a homebody, very romantic in her relationship with her husband. And she wrote a book. She was on the show before. And having to work through some of the social anxieties that she has as an introvert, some of the relationships with friendships, because she keeps her circle of friends very, very small. And she actually likes other introverted type people. And I actually think there's something really pleasant and really special about Omega females. And I think there is a strength behind them more than they realize. I know that most of the time I give Omega females a lot of anxiety. Matter of fact, when her and I went to dinner and I'm talking and I'm just kind of bouncing off ideas or whatever, and she's just so like, I could see her kind of like shrinking. And I noticed it, and she's like, you just have such this
energy,
energy and this powerhouse personality that I just feel like I'm shrinking. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it was good for me to be around her because I'm like, it helps me to kind of take it down a notch to let her, like, this is my leadership. Why you see she don't give a care.
But maybe that's
my bad. I'm sorry. No,
I'm thinking maybe she needed a little bit of that too. Yeah.
You know what? It's so funny.
Like,
okay, our personalities are coming out right now because it's exactly what we just said. I'm sitting here saying, here's my Omega friend. And as I'm talking, she's shrinking down. And this strong alpha female, wants to make her feel comfortable.
When the bitch is like, this bitch won't shut up.
Or she's like,
No.
Yeah. It's her show.
I'm just playing.
Because she's like, if she's introverted, don't shrink yourself. Don't minimize yourself because she's minimizing herself.
I'm with you on that too. Maybe she needs a piece of you.
Well,
to come,
here's me too. Like, I'm very territorial, kind of. I don't know if you know this about me. But when I'm hanging out, and I'm so like, I don't hang out with a lot of people. So when I spend time with my friend, she's not my only friend.
Yeah.
But when I spend out with time with any of my friends, it's like I just want to spend my time with them. And I don't mind the conversations or stuff like that. But it gets, Lorraine is always picking up a friend somewhere. But I do too sometimes. So it's not a big deal. But it does, I don't feel like you should have to minimize yourself or dumb yourself down, or, you should always be comfortable enough to be who you are and not feel like you're intimidating somebody because it's genuinely who you are.
Yeah, just having an awareness to adapt to her. Maybe not bring yourself down, but, slowly work your way up.
Maybe I need to be a little more aware
No, I
of
think
that.
you need to be exactly who you are, where you're at, what it is. If it's the same way always.
I'll just be quiet. Like, I just won't talk.
And that's very true. Sometimes she's just
I'll just
quiet,
be quiet.
or she'll go ask the waiter for the check.
I'm ready to go.
Ready
Is
to
it
go.
because you're
We're like, we're not
disengaged?
finished.
No, I'm not disengaged, and I don't mind sitting there. I'm not being weird or
No,
anything.
no,
I
I
don't
know.
mind if she's having a conversation with
Sure.
anybody else or anything like that. It happens all the time. We engage in all kind of conversations. I just don't open up easily to people.
I'm with you.
And I don't like when people start asking me personal questions if I don't feel like talking about it or something like that.
yeah.
So that's really when I start shutting down. But no, I don't. I just, Lorraine kind of over, like she will really try to make the other person feel
What I attracted
included
to
and
her
comfortable.
is because you are like that.
Yeah.
I love that about you because I am too. Like I like people. I love people. I want to connect with you because I think there's always something we can offer each other. But there's also the other type of people that don't even want to try. So then you have to learn, okay, well, this is that boundary line you've given me and I'm aware. However, if we're alone, is that boundary line still there? Or is it just because there's other people around that boundary line is there? So how can we connect? What is the depth? And then we decide if it's a true friendship that we carry on or if it's a moment of experience that we're having with each other.
Yeah.
That's how I see it anyways.
And I don't necessarily think when I'm like bringing myself down, so to speak, I'm not looking at like I'm minimizing myself. Although there has been times in my life where I was asked to dim my light, not realizing that it was even shining and feeling really awful about it because I'm not looking to be the center of attention. I don't need to walk in a room and have everybody talk to me or see me. It is not my intention ever. And people wouldn't believe this, but I actually don't like to be the center of attention. But I can't help sometimes if I just am. And sometimes I'm unaware of that, that's what I'm radiating. That's what I'm giving off. And I've had someone very close to me tell me one time, the story was this. I need you to come to this thing with me. I really need you to come. And I didn't want to go. Okay. And I said, well, I don't really feel like going, or, I'm tired, whatever it was. No, but I'm shy, and I know that you can help, engage the people that we're going to be with, and it takes the pressure off of me. I really need you to be there. So me being the person who wants to be there, I said, okay, if you need me to be there, I'll be there, and I'll be the one that kind of engages. So when I get to this place, there's a few people, and I immediately turn on, right? And I go and I make sure that they're engaged, and I'm conversing with everybody. And so now they're asking me questions about my life and so on and so forth. And that person looked across, we were at a dining table, looked at me and gave me this look and said, oh, wow, you always have to be the center of attention in front of the group. And I was so beside myself because I could not believe that I was doing something wrong. I was really trying to be a support for them. And then when it got to be too much for them, they needed me to bring it back down. And in those situations,
that makes me upset.
yeah.
That's
And in those situations, it's wrong. And I've had to learn to not do that because I am who I am. I can't change that this is the personality that is manifested into this body. This is who I am for whatever reason God gifted me to be this way. And I'm learning more in life to not dim my light for other people. However, if I'm in a space where someone's uncomfortable, because I do recognize self and how I can come across and how I can maybe intimidate some
Your
people.
alpha just stands right out. Yeah.
Yeah, it stands right on. It's a little intimidating for
She
some
is
people.
really
I
good
don't
at that,
mind
though.
to see that and scale back, not because I'm minimizing, but because I have compassion and empathy and I really want to connect.
That part doesn't bother.
No.
Like, like if it was that part doesn't bother. It's where you're talking about where you got to dim your light. Or even like when the guy was like, she's being aggressive. And I'm like, you don't even know this woman to say she would never order the most expensive thing on the menu just to prove she would never do nothing like
Yeah,
that.
that's his problem.
And then
Right.
I would never not be quiet if you pissed me off. Like
If you
I
only
might say
knew-
it
right,
quiet or
yeah.
I might not be as, my voice isn't as loud, but like you can't, how could you just base judgment off of that? And she gets to so much about like, cause she's passionate about like, Lorraine can make 50 friends in the room in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It's just her personality. And I don't think,
Thank you.
I think it does take a special woman to be, a friend to a woman like that is an alpha, because she is. she hands down she is, but another woman could be intimidated by that. If
And
that
you know
makes
what?
sense.
You know what's
That's
really
not
sad
as,
about it is that, and I'm going to go spectrums here. I'm going to go alpha, which is one spectrum, and then the what was the one we just said?
Omega.
The omega, who's very, so they're two spectrumly, they're very different, right? But often they're, friendships, or you're robbed of friendships with those types of personalities because the introverted type woman is probably one of the greatest friends you have, but you just won't talk to her because she's quiet. And then the alpha female, who's overly out there kind of thing, may lose friendship. I've lost friendships, not even understanding why, but because I have this, I can't not be who I am. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I think too, another thing that's a misconception about, like, the alpha woman is the strongest woman, or the strong. There's strength in all women, and
Absolutely.
To dating, for example. Like, I was married to a great person. He wasn't as, when I say strength, like he's strong, but it wasn't like a out, like he's aggressive, So I started drawing to a more aggressive men that were like, and I saw that as strength. And it's like, it's not because you're aggressive or you're outspoken that always makes you strong. There's silence.
Well,
when
grow.
you can be silent, you can be strong. So I think that's another misconception. And as women, just because we're not alpha doesn't mean you're not strong.
And here's the thing. I'm going to say this because it just came to me, it occurred to me when you mentioned you and your ex-husband, is I think when we understand who we are and we can be in that role confidently, that gives us strength no matter what personality type we are.
Yes.
However, when we are in a relationship or in a dynamic that causes us to be out of an alignment with who we are. So for example, with her, she's not innately an alpha female. Not in a relationship. She doesn't want to be that role. In her relationship, which if they would have saw who they needed to be, in her relationship with her ex-husband, and this is no knock to him because he is a great man, but he's very much kind of a beta male.
I wouldn't call him beta, but go ahead.
I think he kind of is.
I wouldn't call him that.
No.
Beta, no.
But she was the alpha in the relationship. Okay? She was. So if she was the alpha, then someone's going to take one of the other roles.
I have a story. Well, to being married, in the beginning, I was the alpha in my home, and I still kind of am. But there was a time in my marriage when my husband wanted to lead, and I was like,
"Yeah,
I don't know how to do." Like I'm the leader. I'm going to do this. But then problems came from that. But we also grew up together. Things happen in our lives that shifted certain things. So again, I think that's with friendships, that's with relationships. When we grow, Who we are internally is who we are, but there's circumstances and situations that come up in our life that teach us things that we see differently now. So that also changes how we show up. Not that we're not being true to ourselves, but we just kind of have like good game peeps all game. Like we're having an awareness of what's happening. So let me just, understand my circumstances, my situation, and then just be who I am, how I need to be who I am in that moment. So it's understanding that about oneself too.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it right or wrong, good or bad. It's just
But that's what I mean. Like, if we're not in alignment with what we're naturally comfortable in, especially like in a relationship or even in your career path, right? If you're in a position in your career where it doesn't suit who you, like if you're an introverted type person, let's say, and you're put in management or leadership, that might make you really uncomfortable. In your relationship, like I said, you're not innately to be an alpha female, but in your relationship at the time, she became the alpha, and maybe he wants to be an alpha type. But by default, she was just the stronger of the personalities. She took more charge than he did. It's not a knock on him, but he just wasn't being an alpha male.
Him and I went to a concert the other day, and he's like, I think it's this way. He said something else, but he said, well, everybody that's dressed up is going this way. I said, no, it's that way, right? Because here I got to take control. And we were at the Venetian.
Yeah.
So you know where the box office is? I'm thinking the theater's over there. So I'm like, no, it's this way because I've seen it before. I've been here. I've been to Milo's. I know where it's at, so we go. And of course, it was where he said. So we started arguing and we just, went as friends.
Yeah.
And he's like, see, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, you should have took charge. You should have took the lead then.
But he's not that guy.
Because I keep messing up.
And he's like, I'm going to let her figure it out.
Well, that's been our dynamic.
Right.
But it's okay that he's not that guy. But in the complexities of their union, he wasn't able to be an alpha male. He just wasn't. He didn't take charge in the relationship with her personality. Maybe with a different type of woman.
It was just me. Yeah.
No, because I think the pack leader always will lead the pack. But again, it was not in alignment with what the role you really want to be in, and this is why there was problems. In another relationship, if she's going to be, like she said, she likes the alpha male, the strong alpha male. She's much more attracted to that kind of man now because it was too much for her to be the alpha in that relationship. Some women love being the alpha in their relationship. You know what I mean? I don't mind being an alpha, but I do like a man to take a little bit more charge in the household. I feel like that's, like you said, it's the man's the head, the woman's in my mind, and that's just my belief system. You were going to say, Charlene, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
You're probably rambling anyway about.
All right, so we'll go Delta, and then we'll end with Sigma. Real quick, the Delta is she's shy, she's realistic, she's self-conscious, and she's communicative. Real quick, it says in a similar sense to the Omega, the Delta female is a personality who is not going to love going to parties and would rather stay home. Something that helps a Delta female in several situations is her ability to be realistic. This trait means that she is not dreaming about fantasy situations, as she is only looking at practical opportunities in life. She is self-conscious, which is one of the major issues that a Delta female will face in battling with her own insecurities. For her, the flaws that she notices are often multiplied as she is most often confident in other areas of her life. People who communicate effectively in life generally have lives that are going well, and that is very true for the Delta female because she's a communicator. The Delta female for me, I actually, again, these are my yin and yang type women. I like to have those kind of women around me, actually, because they help to kind of like.
Where's the fan?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I need someone to hold my fan. Whatever, Carmen. Whatever. Anyways, I love Delta females. Moving on. Enough said about the Delta female. Moving on. Where's my fan?
I know. Next time.
Anyway, the Sigma. Okay, this is Carmen all the way. Gets emotionally attached. The Sigma female shares many of the traits of the outwardly intimidating personality that's seen in the Alpha. However, the Sigma female is far more likely to get emotionally attached to someone than the Alpha female. This is so true. Okay. This makes her often more emotional and likely to get overly attached. She's intimidating. The Sigma female is a female who demands attention when she walks into a room or is speaking, and she can be very intimidating to others. She is loyal. A great reason to be friends with a Sigma female is that she's incredibly loyal and devoted to those that she loves. When a friend asks them to do something or to help them out, the Sigma female will embrace the opportunity and always be around to offer a helping hand. She is elusive. This last trait is somewhat unique in that it can be both a positive and negative for the Sigma female. In many cases, the elusive nature of the Sigma female is what attracts so many people to them. They, as they act with a sense of mystery, that gets people pulled into them. However, the elusive nature can also lead people to not trust a Sigma female. Overall, the Sigma female displays many traits of each of the other personalities in one holistic package. I kind of feel like you're a little bit of Sigma.
I think so. I find myself in almost every one of those, but which one stands the strongest for me? I could think of different times in my life where one was more pronounced than others. And I think at some point in time, as we learn who we are and have different situations, we just stand in our full power of it all. The melting pot of all the personalities is just, that's it. And you learn who to show up being, not that you're not being yourself, but in that moment, if I'm at work, I'm not going to respond to things as I would at home and vice versa, so it's just understanding the audience, the friends, the purpose, what is this here? What am I here for? What's my goal? Let's do this, or what message am I trying to deliver? Or am I here to solve a problem? Or is there a problem now that I'm finding because I'm here? So that's alpha, that's this, that's that. So compassion, empathy, wisdom, discernment, care, loyalty, emotions, all of that.
That's a description of a woman
absolutely.
In general.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether we're introverted or extroverted, whether we're alpha, beta, gamma, I think that overall, there's a little bit of everything in us.
That describes a woman. Let's capture that and remember that.
And I think and that's a good way to kind of close it up, is that, yeah, you know, like, yeah, I'm an alpha female, but I love all types of other women personality types. Some of them, like you're saying, I can find myself a little bit in every single one of them. But at the end of the day, we're just women being phenomenal women. If we just allow ourselves to be,
yeah.
you know, and not feel like because you're not like this type of woman or this type of woman, that means something's wrong. Because I think there's a lot of pressure.
I think that this would be good to play on strengths. Like, you know, they have the Strength Finder 5.0 for work, career purposes. Where is my gift going to shine the best in doing what for a living, or being this type of woman for a man, or being this type of friend? So it's just figuring out where our strengths are. Not that we don't have them all, but which one do we find our deepest strength that we can give the best of who we are in that moment with that strength. That's how I'm receiving the message today, and that, because we can describe and we all have a look, but what are we using it for? What's the bigger purpose of understanding this, right? It's knowing who we are so that we can show up in that position when we need to, how we need to, and be our best and give our best and deliver the message we're here to do.
Yeah.
You know, and all of that. But yeah, good stuff.
You were going to say something?
Just, you know, embracing who you are. Like, I'm going to just go back to it, like being comfortable to just say, this is who I want to be, who I am. I could be alpha at work and I could be beta at home, or whatever you want to be. Like, if that's truly who you are at the core, you know, and it's not a bad thing just because you're not an alpha female. Nope. First of all, if we had a world full of alphas, everybody would be destroyed. It'd be a war. You know what I mean? Men, women, everybody can't take charge like that, and everybody's not meant to.
Right.
I think when we have a sense of understanding, though, it lightens things up a bit. Or you're hey, I'm having an alpha moment.
Right.
Just stay the hell away from me.
Right.
Yeah. I'm being a little, you know.
And be graceful with yourself. Give yourself permission, like she said, to just be, you know.
Because everybody that is a certain thing wishes they were a certain other thing, right? So the beta female or the other type of personality types might look at it, like I was describing earlier, at an alpha female, like, wow, I wish I could be like her. But the alpha female and myself, as I speak on my own behalf, wishes sometimes I could just pull back. Sometimes I just wish I could just ease myself into things and just let things be.
And it feel good. There's that discernment.
That was the whole feeling with the elevator. Like, I just don't have to worry about it.
With the elevator?
I know.
The story where he was like, you keep making the wrong turn going to the elevator. It's like, I just wanted a moment, and it was like, it meant more than that. You know what I'm saying? But when he brought it, I'm like, oh, I bet you I'll never forget again. Wherever we go, you know what I mean? There I go. But yeah, it was just a moment. Like, I just feel that safe with you, and I don't ever really have that feeling.
Yeah.
You know, to just let go and be.
So. Wow. All right.
Women.
Good stuff. Yes.
Good stuff.
All right. Well,
we're not complicated at all.
No, not complicated.
I
mean,
come on.
Just
we're clearly alpha.
We just broke
and the
it
lines
all
are
down.
clear. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you guys again for watching the show. Again, if you like the content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you very much. And until next time, take care. From my heart to yours.